Hello, everyone. It is Darshan Kendrick, the founder of Darshan Speaks. Thank you so much for coming to this class 6 of our Masterclass Capital Conversations. The topic is the top 5 mistakes in the capital raising process. You're probably hearing this recording because due to unforeseen circumstances, I had to pre-record this. But I wanted to give you this great information, so let's get started. Here at Darshan Speaks, we transform growing companies into attractive companies for investors by focusing on 5 key business areas. We focus on your foundation, your framework, your financials, your forward thinking / scaling, and your future. And so we use our legal services as well as business coaching in order to accomplish that goal. I'm a 15-plus year corporate securities attorney who has helped companies nationwide raise billions of dollars in private investment capital and save companies millions in unnecessary court costs and fees. And it is a pleasure to be with you. So I want to tell you a story about how important it is to really listen to the mistakes that I'm going to talk about. So I had a client that went through one of our coaching courses, and at the end of the coaching course, even though I told them, based on my experience and the hundreds of business owners I work with, not to do this and not to do that, they kept fighting me because they thought they knew this. I had to eventually stop them and tell them one day, I have went through every single mistake. Well, not me, but the clients that I represent. My clients, past clients, have went through all these mistakes and came back and told me about it. It's over 15 years of compilation after compilation of big mistakes, small mistakes, mistakes that could have been avoided, those that could only be mitigated. I have a treasure trove of what not to do. Listen to me. Take from my experience so you don't have to make the same mistakes. It's hard enough raising capital. Don't go through the same mistakes that others have. Let those people be a lesson for what not to do, okay? So eventually the client ended up taking most of my advice and went on to raise millions of dollars in a Series A round and subsequent rounds. And luckily, they listened and did not make the same mistakes that so many former clients and people that I've heard about and read about and experienced went through. And so these 5 mistakes are only the tip of the iceberg, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time because I could literally go days talking about mistakes, but I wanted to give you the top 5 mistakes, really the root of every other mistake. If you listen to these mistakes, you shouldn't make too many other mistakes. So let's go ahead and get started. So the 5 mistakes made during the capital raising process. So the first mistake is thinking it will be easy because you know people. Capital raising is hard. It's one thing for people to say they support you. It's another thing for them to say they support your company. But it is another thing for people to part with their hard-earned cash. That's taking it to another level. So a lot of people say, oh, I have these friends and these families, and I know these people. They're part of my organization or my church club, and they would be so excited about that. They already said they would invest. When the rubber meets the road and you ask someone to write a check, it becomes a different conversation. So go into the capital raising process knowing that it will not be easy. They will not be fast. It takes a process to make that happen, to raise those funds, and it is not as easy as people think it is. Nowhere near, actually. So that's the first mistake, is people think it's going to be easy and it's going to be fast to raise capital from people just because you know people. Not the case. The second mistake is using legal documents from other companies or the internet. If you're on my YouTube, if you follow me on YouTube, I did have a whole slideshow video about 4 reasons why you should not use internet forms. So you can go on there and check that particular video out. But using legal documents from other companies or the internet are bad in itself. They become even worse when you're raising capital because not every company has the same terms. It's not like you're, just have a vendor contract where you can universally sort of pass that form around and change some of the stuff. No, the terms of you raising capital are going to be very specific to you and your company and your situation and the specific terms that you want. So getting a document off the internet without having some guidance as to one, if this is the correct form, but two, what needs to be changed is a recipe for disaster. Don't make your attorney cry. It's going to be even more expensive if you take a form off the internet, try to change it. All your attorney is going to have to do is go back and correct that work, which is going to make it really time consuming, but also more expensive. So second mistake I've seen is taking a legal document from other companies or off the internet and trying to use it as your own to raise capital. The third thing is doing it all on your own. You need a team. Most founders have co-founders. It is very hard to raise capital as a solo founder because investors are thinking you're a one-person show, you got these other responsibilities. How are you going to execute on this great idea or plan? Okay, so make sure that you are building a team. I also did a whole masterclass as a part of this series on building your dream team, making sure that you have the right people in place in order to make sure that you can convince your investors that your great plan and idea could actually come to fruition because you have the right people in place. So third mistake is doing it on your own and thinking you can do it on your own and presenting to investors that you can do it on your own. That is not a case. Get you a team. The fourth is not knowing who your customer is or where they are. So you might have this great idea, but how are you going to match the ideal customer who will pay for it with your idea? It's called a marketing plan, marketing and advertising plan. You have to have those two things in order to be able to grow and scale your company. That's going to be one of the first questions that an investor asks you once you come up with this great idea or plan is, how do you get to market? How do you get it in a space where people know that your product exists? What is the price point that is going to be attractive to the people that you're looking to buy? And how do you build that brand loyalty? So you have to know who your customer is and where they are, because your customer is not going to be everywhere. Hopefully your company idea is so niche that you know exactly who your customer is and exactly where to find them. So that's the fourth mistake. You don't know who your customer is, you don't know where to find them. How are you going to grow your business? And if you don't know how to grow your business and your plan doesn't know how to grow your business, why do you think investors will invest with you? So that's number 4. The fifth mistake is not knowing what your financing strategy is, how to get there, and how to reach investors. And this is more on the legal side of it, because I have people who say, oh, I'm just going to raise money from investors. Okay, what type of investors? Venture capitalists, angel investors, family and friends? Who exactly are you raising from? Also, there's a whole regulatory scheme that you have to comply with when you're raising capital. So getting your ducks in a row to say, this is the path that I'm going to take legally in order to raise capital. These are the documents that I need to file with a federal, state, or local entity. These are the legal documents that I need internally within my company in order to protect myself, is literally one of the top mistakes I see people make. They just go out there and start raising money, ain't filed a piece of paperwork, don't have a piece of paperwork for an investor to sign, no offering document that has the disclaimers and things in there to protect them. So know what your financing strategy is, how are you going to get there, and how you're going to reach investors. Because remember, rule number 1, or mistake number 1, is just thinking that it's going to be easy to raise capital. It's not. You're going to have a strategy, a plan, sit down with your superstar team of professionals, convey what it is that you're trying to do, and get on the same accord. And just grind with it. Just grind. So let's recap the top 5 mistakes in the capital raising process. The first one is thinking it's going to be easy. It's not. The second one is using legal documents from other companies or the internet. That's not how securities law works. It's a very nuanced technical area of law specific to your particular round and how you're raising and particular industry and company. The third one is thinking that you can do it on your own and trying to do it on your own. You need a team. You need a dream team. Number 4 is not knowing who your customer is and where they are. And if you don't know it, then the investor is not going to be convinced that you can actually grow your company. And last but not least, not knowing your financing strategy, how to get there, and which investors to target and where they are. How are you going to find investors if you don't even know what your ideal investor looks like and what's your legal compliance plan to make sure that you stay out of trouble? Okay. So if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section. You can always contact us if you have any questions. We offer consultations as well. So feel free to reach out to us if we can be of assistance. This is class number 6. Class number 7 should be uploaded right behind this. So I hope you take a look at all those master classes and really go in sequence. If you have any questions, you can always pop the question right under the video on YouTube, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. But if you need further assistance, remember, we are here to get you investor ready, both on the legal side and the business coaching side. So reach out to us in order to discuss our services, or we have a 30-day investor ready bootcamp that we just launched. So if you need to raise capital in 3 months or less, check out that 30-day investor ready bootcamp. It is at a discount, heavy discount in our 6-month course. And we try to go through some of the same things in a very compact period of time. So check that out. And also share this video with those you think might be interested. I try to upload these helpful videos all the time. And make sure you check out our YouTube list on investor ready tips, which are 1-minute shorts to help you along the way on your journey. So I hope that you enjoyed this class, that this was helpful to you, and I hope to see many of you as we continue to do videos like this and classes and things. Make sure you sign up for my weekly Investor Ready email list. You can go to the website, www.darshonspeaks, to sign up for that. Make sure you like this video, that you subscribe, and you comment, and you share. Thank you so much for attending this masterclass on the top 5 mistakes in capital raising. I hope it was helpful.